Oh man. I guess that's an
Wow.
I guess that's a new feature.
I guess so. Let everyone know.
Oh my god.
Beyond.
Zoom with the fucking crazy update.
Yeah, right. I guess
Dude, these
that's actually, I'm kind of
allergies.
surprised.
Dude, these allergies
Yeah.
over here are crushing me right now.
Yo, it's bad, right? It's really bad.
Dude, I'm like dying.
And the tri-state is. I could hear it a little bit too. Yeah, the
Yeah,
tri-state's rough.
my eyes are like fucking dying out here.
You gotta pop a Zyrtec or something.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the thing too. Like, yeah, you've been in Florida, and then you come back here and it hits you all at once. Yeah, the pollen is crazy. My car looks green. I cleaned it earlier too. So like,
Yeah, all the pollen, dude, fuck that. Pollen's be
it's crazy. For those of you that have crazy pollen in your area, you guys know the struggle. It's terrible. Get your allergy medicine ready. This is the time of year, man.
I would imagine. I wonder, like, where that happens, like, where allergies are fucking
I say
really.
more change of seasons when you'd probably have it be the most significant. You know,
Yeah, let's
so
see.
probably the tri-state, northeast, northwest, maybe too, a little bit.
Why don't you go ahead and share up? We'll get right into it.
Yeah, let's get started with this one, guys. All right, so Sunday Market Blitz, guys. This is essentially the overview for the week ahead. We're going to mainly be focusing on the 4-hour time frame, but we're going to do a full top-down analysis, cover what all the trends are on the significant time frames. But we're mainly focusing on the 4-hour through the week. All of these are posted in the 4-hour time frame in our analysis section on Discord and also in our Telegram. Okay, so this is pretty much for your access all week long. You guys can refer to this. It's valid through the week. And we do an update on Wednesday. So we're kind of like, taking you through the week, seeing how things played out, and then we're making adjustments accordingly. So this is Sunday Market Blitz. We're going to just cover all these that I prepared for you guys. We're just going to run through it and see what's going on for the week ahead. All right, so let's go to the daily time frame to start. We're going to look at DXY first, which is just the dollar index, right? This is just showing us strength of the dollar, which we then use to help analyze other pairs that are greatly influenced by the dollar. Okay, because it makes up for pretty much 80% of all trade. So whatever this is doing, you'll see a lot of the market start to follow or react to some degree. So it's always a good idea to kind of see what's going on here first. And even if you are just assessing the trend, we're using it more as an indicator, if anything. All right, so very bearish here, as we can see, have been for quite a while. If we just look left all the way back till April, it's been falling since, lower lows, lower highs, clear downtrend. We have been kind of dancing around this monthly zone. We did break through it, tested at the lower high, and then broke through it again. Got some higher lows in this time frame, and then eventually it reversed at the resisting trend line and around the 200 EMA, came back through the monthly. So we're confidently bearish again on the dollar. Okay, and it looks like it's maintaining some sort of pattern as well. So let's drop down to the 4-hour now with this trend in mind. Right, we're very bearish. Let's take that info, see how we can apply it on the 4-hour. Okay, so this is generally going to be the movement for the week. That's why we're looking at this time frame. And these trade paths are pretty much highlighting the potential for the week ahead, right? So either price action is going to continue with this bearish trend, going to keep developing this pattern, and we'll probably see a lower low form closer to our negative 27 fib level. So this makes a lot of sense, right? We're seeing some exhaustion right now. This is pretty close to confirming this is a lower high, but yet still a couple steps away, but could definitely start pushing lower if we see some conviction, right? That's definitely going to give us confidence. As soon as this confirms, that price action is going to drop lower. It's going to continue to form this pattern, and we'll see new lows this week, right? So that's what this is highly suggesting. Okay, but we always look at both sides of the market. What needs to happen for us to say, all right, US dollar is definitely bullish now, right? It's broken this lower high. We broke the resistance at 92.5. Okay, we got a higher low confirmed, and then that's when we're going to say, okay, this is looking more bullish, especially on this time frame, and then we'll start looking for price action to reach key resistance levels, so like 97.5, potentially this monthly if we blow through this level. But that's essentially what we're looking for, right? Either a continuation of this trend or an attempt to change the trend or break it. Okay, so that's DXY. Let's move on to our first tradable pair. which is going to be AU. Okay, so this is interesting. This is going to be a pretty good lesson because this is kind of abnormal price action, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. So first thing we want to do, just like we did on DXY, jump to the daily time frame. And we don't need to gather much information from here, just the trend, right? Very bullish, higher highs, higher lows. We're breaking resistance, finding new support, testing areas, all characteristics of a very strong bullish trend. Okay. And the most key level, the most significant level as to where price action is now is this weekly zone, right at 0.76. We've tested it multiple times, held its support multiple times, and is proven to be a key level. All right. So with that in mind, drop to the 4-hour. See how we could make sense of this. All right, so we know we're overall bullish, but if we look left a little bit here, just on the 4-hour, we can see that we've had a lot of indecision and a lot of struggle finding conviction in this area, right? So this is a range, clearly. We've ranged here a little bit. We've consolidated here a little bit. Now we're currently ranging back in this middle section between 0.78 as resistance, 0.7715 as support. So definite ranging there. We know that the max price action is reached was back here, 0.80. So that if we do break the range in a bullish fashion, we'll definitely be looking towards that area as a target. Okay, but if we continue to range and it breaks lower out of the range, we'll just target towards the weekly, which is the supporting level for this, for all that price action we just covered, right? This huge level. Okay, so we know we're bullish on the higher time frame as well. So let's just go over the bullish option first, right? It's going to continue to range. It's going to reverse at this level. We're going to see more consolidation. I'm sure that there would be some lower time frame entries, more so 30-minute, 15-minute stuff, where you could catch a good entry, catch a nice little transition, and then enter a long position and target 0.78. So there's definite possibility there. Not a conservative entry. There's definite more risk with trading a range, but this is definitely one possibility. Simply just a continuation of this for the week ahead. Or what needs to happen for us to say we want to look at shorts. AU is looking bearish. That would simply be a break of the range here. So you want to see a break of support at 0.715, retest, confirm lower high, and then bearish setups. We can enter on, and plenty of confirmation in that as well. So that'd be a pretty good trade. Honestly, just have to wait for this to kind of, do its thing. Ranges are pretty simple. It's either going to break or it's going to continue. So we are at the low. So these are the two most probable scenarios as of right now. So that's AU. I'm a little neutral on it, but we'll see how it develops for this week. Okay, so then now let's go to AJ. This one's showing us a little more movement, which is good, but it's also expected. So let's jump to the daily for a second. Just take a look at the overall trend. Again, much like AU, very bullish, but slightly more bullish. There's definitely more higher lows here, a little more squeeze in price action towards the upside here. So, still bullish. All right, so let's go down to the, and then also this is another similarity, this weekly support, right? 83.25, tested multiple times, much like we just saw in AU. So very bullish. Let's go to the 4-hour now, see what's going on here. Okay, so now this 4-hour is looking pretty bearish, right? Now we can spot one thing out of this whole bit of price action first, and it's that we were ranging, right? So we were ranging for quite a while. We had it definitely struggled to break. Finally, it did here, not in a super aggressive way. It honestly looked like this was a struggle just getting above this level, and then it finally started pushing higher. It found a new high and then came crashing back down. And it kind of looks like some kind of abstract head and shoulders too. The neckline kind of being around 84.4. If it was one, this would be the right shoulder, lower highs, similar types of setups, right? So definitely looking bearish. And since we did just break that level and are getting a lower high here, and then another confirmation in this bearish engulfing through the, or off the MAs and then through the 200. So this thing is honestly looking super ready to short. So the most probable setup I would say for this one into this week would be try and catch some retest, look for some rejection off 84.4, confirm that lower high, and then enter on some strong bearish setups. We're going to target way down towards 83.25. So this could drop well over 100 pips, guys, from 84.4. So AJ is looking pretty good for this week.
Yeah,
And,
this thing does look solid to, again, these sessions guys are focused on the swing trading. So this looks solid to continue to push down overall.
Yeah, over the next few days for sure. I mean, that seems very likely considering especially if we see some more bearish setups right now and we push a little lower into this zone, because as we've seen many times before, price action rocket off this level, just reject like crazy and just play within this range. So this is definitely a great target. Bottom of the range, weekly support, 83.25, guys. So that's the bearish setup. So let's go over what needs to happen for us to kind of flip our bias and say, okay, we're definitely long on AJ. We're going to start buying the hell out of this thing. It doesn't look bearish at all. We need to see a break of, I made this a little more conservative. This is a minor resistance level, but that's really what I want to see because this is a lower high right here. At least I'd consider this a lower high if this continues to push. So I really want to see a break of 84.7, okay, and a high low above that, some sort of continuation. This would be ideal. This would need a lot of volume, giving us a lot of confidence in this break, and then the confirmation to follow. So that would be a really good trade. Nice higher low we can enter on. Just catch a nice reversal off 84.7, and then target the prior high. Okay, so both have pretty good or both trade scenarios here are looking pretty good for this week. Definite room to run whichever way it goes. All right, so that's AJ. But yeah, this thing definitely looks like it's going to drop. So we'll see how this one plays out. But let's move on to our next one. So UJ, this one's slowly, giving us some better analysis. It was kind of tough, a couple weeks ago when we were getting this super overextended, bullish trend and then a deep pullback to a fib level. And then it was kind of just hanging around this area. So usually hasn't been the easiest to analyze. We've been kind of patient on this one. At least I have. But it's starting to look a little bit better. So we're on the daily here. We can see that we're clearly bullish now, right? We just kind of talked about that. It just rallied out of this huge ascending channel. Thing just took off, shot to a new high, almost hit 111.5, just fell short at 111 and then pulled back. And again, hit a fib level here and started pushing up. We got a nice MA cross, seeing some higher lows in this area. So very bullish. Let's drop to the 4-hour. See how price action is looking on this time frame. Okay, so because this is kind of skewed because it was such a huge push and then a dramatic pullback. So this is really what we want to look at right here. This pullback here was the daily fib level that was hit. This is how far price action had to pull back before we finally found daily structure. Then it did there and then popped back up. This was where that MA cross in the daily was. Here are those higher lows we just talked about, right at 108.4. But now we're kind of ranging here, right? I mean, it's not coming all the way up to resistance, but still falling short. We're finding resistance in this area. We're finding support down here, 108.4. It's not really trending in a crazy fashion. There's a lot of fighting going on, like large bearish candles, large bullish candles, large bearish candles, and so on and so on. There's no real clear direction here, right? So we're going to analyze this as if it is a range, right? Kind of two parts, upper half, lower half, waiting for this to either continue in this little 4-hour trend. Now, this is more of a 1-hour bearish trend. So looking for this to continue, right? We're just going to, if you catch a nice reversal off 109.2, you could take a slightly riskier trade, shorting here, targeting 108.4 if you want. Again, play it like a range. Or if you want to take some long opportunities, you got to wait for a higher low, at least above 109.2, just following this trade path, and then you would target towards the 110 area. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the best looking chart right now, especially since how UJ was so recently, like we just saw in the daily. Like this was literally the most perfect bearish trend. It's so clear, so clear, and then now we're getting all this scrabble crap.
My dude's about to marry the trend out here.
Right? No, it was a good trend while it lasted, but now we're picking up the pieces over here. So this is really all we got for UJ. Conservative entries anyway, but yeah, sometimes it's like that, guys. I mean, UJ's been on the bottom of my list for the last couple of weeks, just kind of been waiting out, but that's okay. Sometimes trading's like that. There's always other trades on other pairs, other things to look at. There's no real need to just get super zoned into one thing. Okay, so we're gonna move on to EJ here. This one is, let's reset this. Daily trend, very much bullish. And the thing with EJ, I mean, I say this almost every weekend. Once this thing commits to whatever it's doing, bullish, bearish, ranging, it really commits to it. This thing, it went bullish up all the way back here, and it's just been chugging since, blowing through resistance levels. just reaching new highs. But then the same is true when it's ranging, right? So this is the daily time frame. All this in here is ranging. So this is probably like, what is this? December to January, about a whole month of consolidating before we started seeing a lot of volume, and then it started trending again. So once EJ moves, it really goes, and it can be difficult to trade when it's ranging, but could also be really good when it's trending. Okay, so we know that it's bullish. We know that we're at a key level, our weekly, right at 132.75. We're seeing a little bit of a reversal, nothing too major, but let's get a closer look on the 4-hour and see what's really going on. Okay, we know we're overall bullish. Here was some consolidation here. This range broke. Nice rally, got a flag pattern. The trend continued, broke into this weekly zone. Yeah, we got a nice little slow reversal. We just broke through that level again, but not confirmed on the daily. So we could honestly just be finding structure here. I think this is the most likely trade path right here. This is a bullish scenario. Overall, we're very bullish. We know that. If it drops a little bit more, hits a 38.2, that's good structure formation. We catch a nice reversal, look for an entry on an MA cross, bullish variations, and then also, a minor break of this, or just a recross, I'm sorry, of 132.75. Okay, and that would kind of confirm the higher time frame, higher low, true break of the weekly, and then we'll target higher towards negative fib levels and so on. So yeah, EJ is looking really nice, really, really nice. Couple confirmations away from a good trade here, and we'll see how this plays out. But let's say, it fails to form structure 38.2, it keeps dropping, it breaks below 132.42. I'm just honestly expecting it to, do something like it did over here. Just kind of fumble a little bit, maybe range a little bit, give us a pattern, and then we'll get a better idea as to where it's going, right? Because once this happens, we'll have to reanalyze, then we'll play it more as a range, look for a break to the upside or downside. Okay, but until that happens, we're very much bullish, just waiting for that structure and a couple confirmations, then we could be in a nice trade here on EJ. All right, so the last one I'm going to go over is gold. Everybody, it's always a good one to look at, right? It's always doing something interesting. We know it's inversely correlated to DXY. It's just a good one to look at. Everyone loves gold. So we're on the daily here. We do know that we were bearish for quite a while, right? So we were bullish up to Corona, bearish after, right? And it's been falling since, down towards 1675. That was the absolute low we found, got a double bottom, and then started going bullish from there. So we are actually now bullish since we recrossed 1800. This was kind of the pivot level, if you will, for this daily structure. So once we finally got above that, we're happy to say that we're bullish confidently, and we've been reaching resistance levels, week after week. So let's get a better look now on the 4-hour. We know we're bullish on the daily. Okay, we do have a nice little trend here. It is a little bit extended, honestly, but we are right at a pretty big level. 1875, guys, that's a big level. So what we really want to see here is a little more confirmation. I'm not yet convinced that this is broken. I really want to see a good amount of volume. Honestly, I even want to see this, like something pop up a lot higher, then go for a pullback, confirm a higher low above 1875, and then we're targeting negative fib levels, new highs like 1900, 1950, nice psychological levels. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see if we do get this little break here with good volume, and then these next few weeks will be pretty bullish on gold probably. So just waiting for that. Okay, but what happens if it pulls back? Let's say we get massive rejection at 1875, something like this, but it actually sticks. Look for a lower high to then enter on strong bear setups. MA's above price action, nice reversal, and then target down towards 1825. So we're just going to play it zone to zone. That's usually the best way to do it on gold. So yeah, so that's gold. Pretty clear for this week. Just waiting to see, a couple moves, and we'll probably get some more life in the market on Monday, tomorrow morning. So it looks good for this week, guys. And if you do want to just check in with these through the week, you can always just, again, Discord, Telegram, the links are there for you guys to go through, and you all have access to it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Quick recap: I did DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. And Angela's going to cover, a few more for you guys.
That's it. All right, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the chart here. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and post up in the chat. Like Nick went over, a lot of good setups for this week. As always, if you use this analysis on the higher time frame, guys, you can definitely catch setups during the week. Literally, Nick marks normally 2 zones to look for, to trade off of. And if you just take trades near those zones, you will have a high win rate. Like you'll be fairly successful with the trade. So definitely look out for that. I'll show you at the end of the session where you guys can find all the analysis that is posted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little top-down analysis here. So just give me 1 second. All right, so we're going to start with NZD USD up on the weekly time frame. We'll bump up to the monthly. First thing that we're looking for is we're just marking down our overall key levels here. So I've got this monthly level marked right here. So we had support, we had resistance all along this area. Now we're coming back up to retest this resistance right here. Now bringing these candlesticks back on, guys. Just look how this is forming. I mean, this is telling us everything we need to know. We're at the resistance level up here, and we're forming a bearish engulfing on the monthly. Now we've come back up to retest this level, and we're starting to wick, which is telling us that price is most likely going to reject this area. Coming down to the weekly time frame, we have this double top now. We came back up to the top, retested this same price level, 72,930, and we just rejected it last week, closing with this large bearish candle right here with little wick to the downside. So again, another confirmation, look for shorts. And then coming to the daily, we have this huge consolidation at the top, sort of forming like a head and shoulders pattern up here with that right shoulder confirming. So now we're looking for this level to break, which is yet to break, has yet to break. It's 71, it's 71,600, 71,650, right around that area. But I just want to break all this down further to like the 4-hour right now. And if we kind of just look at the 4-hour time frame, just shows us what we need to know. We had this low, we came up, we double tested this area, then we had this push down, and now we just made another lower high in this area. So where am I trying to actually take a trade on this pair? It all just comes down to where do we want to mark our levels. So if I go ahead and look, we had a break of this support level. If we had a retest right here, we got Florian. These sessions always give me confidence. Yeah, guys, I mean, you should be, again, utilizing the analysis that is posted to give you more confidence. You know, obviously do your own breakdowns, but once you guys have your stuff done, you know, compare it to the analysis that we're putting out. Like I remember at one point, you know, I was utilizing other people's analysis, which is why me and Nick did this. Like we're not just doing this for shits and gigs. Like at one point, I was literally looking up, you know, someone's analysis, following it, comparing it to my own, and that was giving me more confidence to take trades. You know, ultimately, because trading is just a confidence game. So when you're getting rattled, it's good to seek out, you know, seek out advice, seek out what other people's ideas and see what they're doing, so you guys can have more confidence in your setups. So again, NZD USD, looking for the continuation of this bearish trend. Do I necessarily want to short right now? You know, I could. Price could retest all the way up really to this level, this 7,200 area. So I want to get it at a better risk reward. And looking at this just very quickly, we can clearly see like this was a nice level of support that was broken. So on the 4-hour time frame, I would love to get in on a retest here because we obviously already know that once price hits this level, there's going to be some sort of reaction either to the upside or the downside. We're coming from the downside. So it would be, the assumption is that it'll reject this area. And then if we come down to the 1-hour and sort of just identify like this trend, this is, again, building off of that idea, always looking for the breaks and retests. I'm just going to bring on a trend line. We can clearly see price was appreciating in this area. We had this like point A, we could draw it. And this is why I don't necessarily use trend lines as like my final confirmation, but we can clearly see price was in an uptrend, you know, trending upward, hit this B, point A and point B right here. And now we just broke that. So I'd love for a retest up in this area, guys. And you could even go ahead, throw like a sell limit up here if you want to put stops above this previous resistance level, which would be like right around 20 pips or like 25 pips. And then we're looking to swing this to the downside. So if we pop back up, what would our targets ultimately be? We want to at least make it back to this low. That would kind of be our first target, but actually bumping up to this daily time frame, we're looking to catch this push, which could go down all the way to this next resistance level, which would then become obviously a greater risk reward. And if you see the risk reward being a 5-to-1, I mean, realistically, if I'm going to take a sell limit, I could even protect myself a little bit more, increase the stops to 50 pips, give me a lot more room to work with. And we're still at a 2.5 risk reward here. So it's still a trade that I would want to be getting into. So this is a little trade idea with NU. Definitely looking for shorts on this week. So keep that in mind, and we'll update you guys and see how that plays out. I'll probably put this one out in the premium group. So that's a decent trade idea for you guys. Let's bump over to NZD or USD Cad next. This thing's looking great, dude. Looking fantastic. Let's get it focused up here. We've got the weekly, certainly very bearish, guys. Has been descending for a minute, all the way since May of 2020. So pretty much for a year, this thing has been gaining value against the dollar. Canadian dollar has been gaining value against the US dollar. So we want to continue with this. I do want to keep in mind, though, we are at a low point, and every time frame, guys, we are literally just looking, are we at lows or lower highs when we're in a downtrend? And if we wanted to just bring on a trend line just to kind of show an example of like how this thing has been moving to the downside, it's obviously, trending downward for quite some time here. And so price is overextended to the downside. We want to anticipate that pullback. That's what we're always going to see with these pairs. And we just went over NZD USD. We're looking for the dollar to gain strength against NZD. So it would probably be wise, or it could be possible for this to reverse as well if we're anticipating the dollar to gain strength. So looking at these two previous week's candles, they're pretty much spinning top and then a very low volume bearish candle here, telling us that the market is starting to slow up and it will potentially reverse after it shows these signs. Look in every other area when we start to get these candles. Like, look at all of this. We had a doji candle here, a doji candle here, and then it actually continued to the downside. This is why we want to be a little bit more patient. But every other time when we had these doji type candles, the market starts to pull back. For example, here we got that pullback. Here we got that pullback. And then even down in this area, this doji. So again, we're just looking at that as one of the confirmations ultimately to make make up our ideas. And then now we got to come down to like the lower time frame. And coming down to the daily, I mean, we want to simply continue with the trend. We're not going to start to long this thing yet. We need to see some sort of break of momentum. So momentum is still extremely bearish. I'm just going to take this off. Momentum is still super bearish. Obviously made the new low, pulled back, pushed down, pulled back, retested this level and rejected it. So last week ended with this doji candle. So at this point, I need to come down to the 4-hour to see this a little bit more clearly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to trace out the trend. So I'm going to start all the way from back here. We're just going to try to keep this as simple as possible for you guys that are struggling with identifying the trends. And then we're going to talk about what the hell should we anticipate over in this region that we're at right now. So clearly we're in a downtrend. These are the areas we want to be taking sells at these lower high points, not down here, up here, not down here, up here. So with that in mind, we are right here. Now, last time we were in this area, pullback. Same thing over here, had a pullback. So we want to anticipate potentially pulling back on this pair. Overall, we are bearish. So, we're looking for continuational moves. But I just want to get in on an area that has the most kind of value, which would be pretty much a pullback back into like these highs right here before we were to short this. but we could have multiple kind of ideas on this. As I come down to the 1 hour time frame, I'm really not trying to overcomplicate things. Right here, we had this break, this new low came up. So if we were trying to just trade this very black and white right now, really what we would be looking for is we'd be looking for this next push to a new low point, which would be we bump up here, bring this all back on. We'd go down here and say, okay, I have this monthly level marked down at 1.18400. That's based on if I were to scroll back, how I actually place this level. And let's focus on this. So I noticed as I scrolled back, trying to find an area where there could be liquidity, we had this support, resistance. So when price comes into this level, obviously it reacts to it with a lot of volatility. And this is where we're currently at. Broken the support level already over here. We're testing this support level right here. So if price breaks through and continues, it's going to go into this 1.18400 area. And that's still about, that's literally 220 pips away. So that'd be a huge move still to the downside. So with this in mind, coming down to the 4 hour time frame right here and knowing that we're in this overall very bearish trend, where would I actually be trying to enter on this? And it really all depends. It all depends how patient you want to be. If you want to wait for price to come back up ultimately into this level, then you could certainly short it from there. Or on the 1 hour, it's already showing us signs of potential trade opportunities right here. We had a break of support, made that new low, pulled back. This was our first lower high, pulled back, made that second lower high. So what you would do is you would actually take a short pretty much in this area right now, knowing that our targets are freaking so low. I mean, our first targets are obviously right here. That would be 1-to-1. Coming all the way down here, guys, this is going to be another 5 to 5.5 to 1 trade. So with that in mind, we can be very conservative with this. We can move stops up a lot, or we could squeeze stop losses, and we could always re-enter if it does get stopped out. So I'm going to leave this on as a trade idea. Obviously, if we had stops around 40 pips and we could, even move them a bit closer, but I'm just being very conservative with this because we have resistance here. We have the support level right here that could now turn into the resistance. So I could pull this up at about 45 pips right here. And this would really be the trade. I mean, we made this new low, pulled back, lower high, pulled back, retested the lower high. So that's USD Cad, looking for this thing to potentially go lower. If I would enter now, I wouldn't do my full risk because the better trade opportunity would be if price shoots up into this level all the way up here. So I would go in with like 0.5%. And then if price does get up to this area, then I would consider putting in more risk for sure. So that's USD CAD. Let's go over next to USD CHF because it'll probably be a very similar like trend right now as USD CAD. So let's bump up to the monthly time frame. So on the monthly, kind of just one look on this one, guys. We're clearly very bearish. Price was moving down for literally over a year, pretty much 2 years at this point, year and 6 months. And we came up, retested this lower high, a lot of rejection off of that level, the 92 level. So now let's just break this down further. Let's just go down time frames. So on this one, it's coming down to the weekly time frame. We can clearly see again price going lower. We're starting to slow up a little bit, but we're certainly still in a downtrend, and I don't see support until we get to this 8,900 area, this 89,100 area. So coming down now to the daily, we can clearly just see prices in a downtrend, breaking support, retesting as resistance, breaking support, retesting, breaking support, retesting, and then now we just had another break and we've already retested and rejected it. So now it's really the point at which we could see that continuation to the downside. So I have 2 trade ideas marked on this one based on this 4-hour time frame. Pretty much, I'm just going to adjust this slightly. I'm going to move this down, and I'm just literally using this level as support. And I'm just averaging all of these candles So I'm not placing at the bottom here. I'm just placing it where price never broke. And by that, I mean candle never closed and followed with another candle below this level. So to me, this is an area where it could potentially come to and find resistance. And I'm just going to mark this as a little zone and pull this off. So again, trends on this time frame on the 4 hour is bearish, pushed to this low, pulled back. Now we're at this low. So we either want it to pull back into this area again, which I already have marked off, or we want to see it break. So if this thing breaks support right now, we simply want to wait for it to fall lower, close, maybe a follow-up candle closes, and then we have that pullback into the resistance, and we'll start shorting it right off of this 89,700 area. So this is going to be for this week definitely a good pair to follow, guys. The structure is very easy on this one. Obviously, forming that lower high, we're clearly in a downtrend. So again, price is either gonna hit this level, find some rejection, or we're simply gonna just start to collapse from here. And if you wanted to intraday trade this a bit, you're saying, okay, if price is gonna move up into that level, could I potentially take buys, up into that area? The probability is not as high, but what I would wait for is basically we form this level of resistance right here at 89,800. If it breaks this level, just to buy it as soon as it retouches, and then you're gonna long this into the resistance up there. This price will pretty much fly into that zone if this level breaks. So that's an intraday idea if you guys are trying to, take a more immediate trade. But overall, if we just stay patient, we're either going to get the sell up here or this is going to break and you're going to get that nice selling opportunity right there. So we went through USEF, UCAD, NU, which already, again, we've got this trade idea out there on this one, just waiting for it to come up. And then let's go over GU next. So we got a couple ideas on this one coming up to the weekly. Let's not be fooled by GU right now. It is coming up, or it's up into this serious level of resistance. And if we look at this time frame, we can clearly see support level was marked here, resistance level was marked here, and price is back up in that area where we're looking for reversals. So coming down to the weekly, price again is up in this area. We have this large wick. Now we're coming up to retest this high right now. And we're already forming, if I just delete some of this, we're already forming those wicks, guys. So we're already rejecting this high, rejecting this high. So this thing could tumble over and head to the downside. Coming down to the daily, we need to be patient because the trend is bullish still on the daily. And then I just want to break this down even further to the 4 hour. And we actually last week in the signal room, we had gotten in on a buy right here and caught this move to the upside, like literally right there. So I can, explain the thinking behind that is on the daily. It's very smooth. We basically had a break of resistance and then retested it as support. And we bought like right in this area as price started to rejected it on the 4 hour time frame. Based on all of this right here, we pretty much bought like right after this bullish candle, and then we started to wick, and then this thing ended up pushing up. That was like a true little swing trade right there. And now at this point, if we go up to the daily time frame, we can clearly see that we're starting to reject this level up here, forming this bearish engulfing, forming this large bearish candle right here, this inverted hammer candle. So I'm looking for price to reverse, but I just want to be patient on this kind of two scenarios here. Either price is going to do the same thing it did last time, come into this area and start to stall out and then push to the upside, or price is going to actually break this level and then it's going to find resistance at the broken level and then start to swing to the downside, which it has a lot of room to move if that actually does play out like that. So GU, two trade ideas on this one for this week. I am looking for price to push down into this level. I don't see any opportunity to buy or sell, up in this area. So this is what I'm holding my idea on. Let's go over GJ next. This will be fairly similar to GU. And I believe I marked up this one last week. So let's just try to play this one out. Let's bump up to the weekly. So last week, pretty much what we were looking at was, we were looking for price to push up into this area. This is our monthly level resistance. If I bump up to the monthly, we can clearly see we have the support here, the resistance here, now price pushing back into that level. So I'm expecting reversal in this zone, pretty aggressive reversal. And then the weekly last week just formed this doji. So this doji showing us that the market could potentially reverse from this level. We came up, was struggled to head higher, found some resistance. Now most likely will at least retest this 153, 150 level, which is about 100 pips away from where we are now. So definitely a good move. And then look at the daily. So last week closed with a bearish engulfing candle. And, if I was a buyer and I was seeing all of this, I would definitely not be as confident that it's going to continue to the upside. So probably would be looking to get out. So that's when, as a seller, you could potentially take advantage of the opportunity. And as we can see here, prices in a clear bullish trend. We just map this out, made this new high, and then now we're having this pullback back into the previous high or low. And this is the making of a lower high here, potentially a head and shoulders pattern that's forming. And look how this right here went down. We had this bearish engulfing. That's what confirmed that this was a lower high. And if I bump down even to the 30-minute now, and I start to evaluate what the hell is going on, on this time frame, we had a nice break of this support level, which is clearly, what that candle was showing, that bearish engulfing, breaking the support level right here. And now we're coming back up to retest. So if I were to want to take an actual position on this, what I could do is I could bring on the fib tool. I could even find this thing. I haven't used the fib tool in so long, I can't even freaking find it. God damn. Where is it, up here? Thing.
Yeah.
So we bring on the fib tool. We've got these two areas, the 38.2 right here and the 618. These are really the two main areas you want to trade from, guys, in this tool. I do have the 70% marked, but again, this is the two areas that I would actually be trying to take orders from. So once price does retrace up into this resistance level, and we could even see if we go back, this previously acted as resistance in this zone. Pretty much these would be the two zones that I'd be looking to take shorts on. And inside of the course, we also teach about how to create your entry zones. It's pretty important to realize how many confirmations you have in an area. The rule of thumb is kind of when you have 2 to 3, that's when it'll be okay to start to actually take trades. So pretty much you start scaling in on order in this area, or if price does manage to pull back to this level, this 61.8 level, then you ultimately could get into orders in there. So I'm going to leave this one up. This is the idea on GJ. I'm going to clean this up a little bit here, and I'm actually going to take off this fib because we already know what this represents. So again, if you were to get in on this first area, targets could be back down to these lows. I'm going to just bump up again time frames right here. So yeah, that's that previous support level that we're looking for price to come down to. But ultimately, remember, if this does swing to the downside, we could actually get the 100 pip move all the way back down to that 153 level, which is ultimately where we're looking for it to go to. So with that in mind, down on this lower time frame, if I'm truly trying to swing trade this, we can put our stops a little bit higher. We could very conservatively have a 2-to-1 risk reward if we're trying to swing it all the way down to that level, or we can squeeze it a little bit more, have it be like 2.5 or 3.0. And this is for that first order. If we get in on the second order, which would be up at this level, the risk reward would be a lot more favorable, and we'd be able to throw our stops in a much better spot. So we'd be able to put our stops up here above the high. It would still be a 3-to-1 risk reward. Our first target right here would actually be like a 1.6. So yeah, these are two good trade ideas on GJ. We'll see how they pull back and react. I'll most likely put one of these out in the signal room for the members this week. And that's pretty much all the pairs that I have for you guys this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed, the session. If you got any questions, I could pull up really quick the Telegram, or actually, yeah, I'll pull up the Telegram where we have everything posted, so you guys can go back and review. We'll go right here. So we posted all the analysis. We scroll up just a little bit earlier today. You can come in here, click on any of these ideas. Looks like one of mine got fucked up.
Actually, too, if you guys want to see how to use this analysis, because you guys always hear us say, like, refer back to it, go back to it, just watch the review video Angelo does every week. That's pretty much how you can use it at any point during the week, whether to check to see if price action has reached these levels yet. Are we in these entry zones? Have they already developed? Are they still valid, invalid, etc.? Do they match up with your analysis? And, so yeah, this is actually a really great video to watch, guys, to just learn how to use it too.
Yep, no, 100%. So I post this weekly analysis review. This just shows you how all the analysis played out, how you guys could have utilized it to take advantage. And yeah, so first step would be kind of just go over this analysis video and then literally follow the analysis for the week, guys. And like, this is all completely free. This is all completely free, and if you're trying to learn how to trade, you could learn how to swing trade literally just from looking at this analysis. Like, you don't need much else, and hopping on the call.
Yeah, if you come to here for the explanation as well, like, yeah, you could learn a lot. It's a lot of good free information.
Yep, this whole session was recorded, so I'll upload it on YouTube afterwards, and you guys will be able to hit up the YouTube and rewatch everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I'll just show you inside of the Telegram. Come up to the top. We've got a bunch of links here. First one's our website, so if you want to just read a little bit more about Nick and myself, a little background about us, go to the website. If you want to join the chat with all the other members, you can see in here people posting their trade ideas for the week, asking questions and whatnot. You can come into there. And then we've got our links for all of our free stuff. So the free services are in this one. And then the lifetime course, you get more information here, one-on-ones, learn and earn, account management, and then our funding program. If you guys don't know yet about the funding program, definitely join the Telegram right here. It just went live last week. And if you guys are interested in doing challenges and getting funded, we're definitely going to become a good alternative for you guys, for the other firms that are out there. We're not saying to use ours instead of theirs. I personally am working on challenges with a few different firms. So, just take advantage of as many as you can, but we do have a very fair price and good rules. So hop onto the website, take a look at the FAQ, and you can hit up the chat if you've got any questions at all. But if you are at that point where you want to go for a funded account, definitely, check us out as an alternative to the other ones that you should be potentially looking into as well. So that's everything in the Telegram. Again, come up to the pinned message. All the information's here, our broker, and then you can come down to this live support link, and you could hit us up with a message in here, and that'll come directly to myself and Nick, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy your Sunday night, and best of luck this week in the market.
That's right. Yeah, I hope to see you guys in the Discord, some of the chats. But yeah, overall, enjoy the rest of the weekend and enjoy this week.
Yeah, we'll be back
trading, guys.
Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday night to do the follow-up session. So like Nick said, just follow the analysis, just follow the analysis and make use of it. And hopefully it helps you guys out.
Now let's get some wins this week. Let's get some wins.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you guys get any wins, hit us up. 100%.
Yeah, send us some.
Hit up Nick.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Oh shit. All right, everyone. Peace out. Have a great night.
Have a good one, guys. Peace.